Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Cal Clark.
And I'm Kim Christensen. We're working to learn more tonight after two homes in Westminster caught fire this evening. Happened near West 80th Avenue and Sheridan Boulevard.
Our Janelle Finch is out there for us. And Janelle, you just had a chance to speak with Westminster firefighters.
Kim and Kyle, Westminster Fire says that two families won't be returning to their homes this evening, and they treated 3 people for minor injuries from this fire. The department is still working on what caused the flames, but here's a look at what it looked like earlier this evening. This is video from Sky 9 that flew over the scene around 6 this evening. You can see fire and lots of smoke coming from the homes. Westminster Fire says the fire started at one home and moved to the other. The department says they also found a couple of fire-damaged cars and dead cats. Westminster Fire says they received several 911 calls reporting an explosion.
At approximately 5:46 p.m., Westminster 911 received several 911 calls about a possible large fire near the area of 80th and Stewart. When our crews arrived, they encountered heavy fire coming from 2 homes. Both of those homes were occupied at the time of the fire, but all of the residents were able to safely evacuate.
XL crews were also on scene. They tell us that they were working to make sure their natural gas lines were operating safely. Live in Westminster, Janelle Finch, 9 News.
Nice night out there. Nice night for a Nuggets games. Fans didn't have to walk too, they didn't mind the walk from the parking to Ball Arena. They hung out outside.
Lovely.
Game 2 against the Clippers, and fans are pumped up. 9 News Chief Meteorologist Kathy Sabin is here. And Kathy, you can hang out outside before you go in and just enjoy the weather.
And hopefully when folks leave after the Nuggets win, which we hope, they're still going to be enjoying a mild night with temperatures in the 60s. Some areas are still in the 70s in eastern Colorado. And we're seeing less of the wind. The wind was so blustery earlier today. Temperatures in Denver, 59 here, 69 in Pueblo. Temperatures in the 60s through the western slope and 40s in the mountains. The winds were downsloping and very warm to about 40 miles per hour. Red flag warning has canceled out. It's this passing weather system responsible for the wind and the cloud cover. And actually on radar, we're seeing a few light snow showers in the northern and central mountains and isolated showers on the plains. We'll see this again tomorrow. Just a little bit of moisture in the mid layers of the atmosphere. So about a 20% chance tomorrow that you'll see a few sprinkles on the windshield. But generally a clear night, a mostly sunny start to the day, partly cloudy skies in the afternoon. Temperatures will drop into the 40s overnight and then jump right back up tomorrow. Weather headlines include a warm, dry start to the week, but we're tracking a midweek storm and chance for showers and thunderstorms. This time, no snow. The timing and impact of the midweek storm is just ahead.
Denver's Juneteenth Music Festival is facing some financial problems. The people running it say big corporate sponsors have pulled out of the event.
9 News reporter Spencer Soysher is along now. And Spencer, we're talking about more than $100,000 in funding they lost.
Yeah, they're hoping to get $80K so that this event can go on. They've already committed to downsizing it, but there's a chance that this event can get canceled altogether. It's traditionally a 2-day event in the streets of Denver's Five Points, celebrating the end of slavery in the United States.
I mean, definitely it's disappointing.
Now Denver's Juneteenth Music Festival may not even be a 1-day event.
We've had a pullback in some of our corporate sponsorships and partnerships.
Norman Harris runs the nonprofit behind the free festival. He says he's not 100% sure why sponsors aren't coming back, but he has an idea.
I, definitely have felt better about where we are socially and politically.
One sponsor that's not returning from last year is Chevron. We reached out to ask why. Chevron told us it monitors attendance, and its sponsored display at the event, quote, didn't garner enough audience interest to warrant renewal.
The attendance has been up. It's grown year over year since 2012. We've got verifiable data that shows that.
This year, Juneteenth Music Fest isn't alone in losing donors. Denver Pride said recently it's lost more than 60% of its sponsorship funds because of political pressure and rollbacks in DEI budgets.
We didn't get any official explanations from companies, so I can't really come out and speak for other organizations.
Still, Juneteenth is just a couple months away.
I'm focused on the next 50 plus days.
And Harris says if Denver wants a Juneteenth music festival, he doesn't have time to focus on the why.
We all, play a role in and making the world what we want it to be. And so we just have to figure it out and work more and work harder to get there.
I reached out to several past sponsors from previous years to see if they've pulled out of this event. The Bond Fee Stanton told me that they had chipped in another $20K to try to help bridge this funding gap after all of this has happened over the last several weeks. Live in Denver, Spencer Soysher, 9 News.
Charges have been dropped against a ski coach from Colorado who was initially accused of assaulting a child. Jared Hedges was arrested in Taos, New Mexico last month. He was a coach for Team Summit, Colorado. Today, we learned the district attorney in New Mexico dropped the charges against him. We're working to learn more about why those charges were dropped.
We have new details tonight on the plan to transform the area around Ball Arena. Kroenke filed plans with the city today. The plans show they want to build a performance venue, 13-story hotel, and 2 residential buildings. All 4 buildings would be over an underground parking garage, and this is on top of where there's 1 outdoor parking lot now. Just phase 1 of a much larger project to create a new entertainment and residential district around Ball. Kroenke could break ground on the redevelopment as early as next year. It's going to be a major transformation expected to take decades of work. The City of Denver is offering up a second round of grants for small businesses on Colfax struggling due to the construction there. Businesses from Broadway to Colorado Boulevard are eligible for this round. They're currently dealing with the impact of the Colfax Bus Rapid Transit project. It's to create a dedicated central bus lane down Colfax from downtown to Aurora. Project started in November. It's expected to last through 2027. City set aside more than $2 million for impacted businesses for grants up to $15,000. In the first round, they gave out 25 of them.
Landlords in Colorado will soon be required to show the entire cost of renting out their homes up front. Today, Democratic Governor Jared Polis signed a bill that targets hidden fees in rental agreements. It also prevents landlords from requiring their tenants to pay certain fees, like pest control, things like that. Help the landlord keep the unit hospitable. The bill is set to take effect at the start of next year.
Today, the Department of Education said it's going to start collecting on defaulted federal student loans once again in 2 weeks' time.
9 News reporter Rachel Krause joins us now. And Rachel, this will impact millions of people.
Yeah, the Department of Education says that more than 5 million borrowers are in default, meaning they haven't made a payment in nearly a year. Another 4 million are in late-stage delinquency with their loans, meaning they haven't paid for months. According to the Department of Ed, only 38% of student loan borrowers are current on their loan payments, and they haven't collected on defaulted loans since March 2020. But who owes and how much has been in question for years after a back and forth between President Joe Biden and the Supreme Court over canceling the student loan debt for millions. Dylan M. Harris, a professor at the University of Colorado, Colorado Springs, says he wasn't surprised by the move to restart collections, but he says the process has been difficult for himself and his students.
It's really unclear what's going on and what to expect or anticipate. But nonetheless, people are being impacted in significant material ways, right? Students owe money, right? And when they owe it, how much they owe, who they're paying it to, these things are changing literally every day. And yet people are still having to do it, right? So it's very confusing and I think actually really devastating.
Harris says he owes thousands in student loans too. Finding answers on his own payments has been tough. He worries about how challenging this will be for students to navigate. The Department of Ed says they're urging borrowers to restart payments, enroll in programs, or sign up for loan options, and they'll be starting the process of garnishing wages this summer. What that process will look like for borrowers, Harris says, isn't clear right now. Rachel Krause, 9 News.
Tonight, Catholics from Denver and around the world are mourning the loss of Pope Francis. The Vatican says the 88-year-old Pope died today, had a stroke that put him in a coma and led to heart failure. Pope Francis will be remembered for preaching peace and acceptance, for reforming the church by embracing progressive struggles around migrants, the LGBTQ community, and addressing climate change. He was born in Argentina. He's the first Latin American Pope. It's something that inspired the president of Regis University, the school's first Hispanic president. He met with the Pope last year.
I also think about that impact that he left with me, and now what's my responsibility to carry it forward in the work that we do when we think about our own commitment to form leaders to shape a better world.
Pope's death is historically followed by the funeral and a 9-day mourning period. Then the College of Cardinals will gather in conclave to elect a new pope.